Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to science class. I'm excited to introduce our Term 3 final assignment. I would have liked to have done it in person. Nevertheless, I've created a video which will hopefully answer any questions that you have. First things first, make sure that you put your name on the sheet. Do not lose it. It also has a marking rubric that will be used later, so please make sure it gets filed into the science section of your binders. So this is the natural disaster assignment. We can read the intro together. The Earth's surface is constantly changing. Even though we may be unaware of it, mountains, valleys, and new islands are constantly being formed. Some of the changes are sudden. Earthquakes, volcanoes, and landslides can happen with little warning. As a conclusion to our study of the Earth's crust, you are to research one of the natural disasters below and prepare a report based on your findings. So you're going to choose one of the following. Okay, you may choose to do a volcano, you may choose to do an earthquake. There are 19 different natural disasters here. Now, you might know of some that aren't on the list after you've done some research that you'd like to report on. That's fine. Just make sure you check it with me, and I will likely approve it. With 29 people in each class, and with 19 natural disasters listed here, there are going to be a few in which 2 people will be reporting on that one disaster. Now, your homework for next week and for today, once we're finished describing the assignment, is for you to research some of these, and I want you to come up with a list of kind of the top 10 ones that you'd like to choose, that you'd like to do. We'll do it by lottery with the use of the cards, and we'll do that early next week. So here's the timeline and the due date. So we've introduced the project today. That's Wednesday, May 14th. There will be a midpoint check 2 weeks from today. At that time, I'm going to have a look at what type of media you're going to be using and how far you've gotten on your project. The final project will be due on Monday, June the 9th. There will be class time for this. We still need to wrap up our Unit 7. There will be a quiz that tests the information on that unit, okay, but there will be class time after that to work on this project. So please make good use of your class time. Next section, delivery of material. This will be a multimedia presentation, meaning that it should contain at least 2 of the following presentation formats. 1. You may choose to do a PowerPoint presentation that contains creative slides, visually appealing images, and factual information. 2. You could choose to do a digitally creative newscast that reports the factual information. Maybe you're a whiz at iMovie or Windows Movie Maker, Final Cut Pro, etc. If you want to do a newscast or a video of some sort, by all means. We had a couple of students do that last year. They turned out really well. 3. You could choose to do a poster board that contains text and visually appealing photos. 4. You may want to take on a model, a diorama model of the natural disaster. For example, a volcano could be done with paper mache. We could use our knowledge of chemistry with baking soda and vinegar to make lava. Or you could make a plasticine model of the plate boundary. 5. If you can think of another creative way to present, please let me know. So again, you have to choose 2 of those. Now, here's our criteria list that we need to pay extra close attention to. 1. Details of the event. It's important to include the who, what, when, where, why, how that caused the event. 2. And very, very important, you need to provide a written description of the tectonic plate boundary. So whether it's divergent, convergent, or transform, plate tectonics is a major theme for this unit, and we need to make sure that you have described it in detail. 3. You're going to model an example of the type of tectonic plate boundary. So that doesn't necessarily mean a 3D model, but you have to show it somehow. Maybe it's a drawing. Okay, maybe you take it on as part of your 3D model. 4. If you're doing earthquakes, you need to list all of the details. The magnitude of the earthquake as measured on the Richter scale, the exact location of the epicenter, the aftershocks, was there a tsunami that was caused as a result as well? If you're doing a volcano, you need to describe the shape and what type of volcano it was, whether it's a cinder cone, whether it's a shield, whether it's a composite. Number 5, and again very, very important, how does your natural disaster relate to our study of the Earth's crust? Hint, consider that the big idea of our inquiry is the surface of the Earth is constantly changing. The more that you can tie in with our lessons that we've studied, the better. So maybe you're talking about the different types of rocks that are being expelled out of the volcano. Maybe you're talking about how materials were eroded from one place to another. Was there weathering involved? So again, tie it to all the lessons, or as many lessons as you can relate it to. Number 6, and last, you need to provide a properly formatted bibliography that lists all sources used, whether it be a website, whether it be a book, maybe it's the images as well. All of those need to be accounted for. You're going to fill in this checklist, okay? You have read the criteria to understand what is required for this project. You know the schedule of due dates and have entered them in my planner. Understand that to do well will require organizing materials and information and presenting it in a format that is clear and creative. And you have read over the criteria and expectations with the parents. Always nice to involve your parents in what you're doing. You will sign, a parent will sign. You will list the natural disaster here. Again, you will not be able to fill this in until we've had our random draw and then the date in which it is signed. This is how we get marked. Okay, familiar scale does not meet expectations, minimally meets expectations, fully meets expectations, or exceeds expectations. Okay, you will be involved in this process. Okay, it will obviously be marked by the teacher, by me. Okay, but you will definitely have a say in how you're marked in this. Likely a peer will also have a say in how this is marked. So details of the disaster. You can read this together here, but each one, as you can see, will be highlighted in one of these 4 categories. Description / representation of the boundary type. So you can see how important that is. What connections, okay, you can make with your project to the lessons that we've been studying in class. And lastly, your health and career and your organization here. Are you meeting deadlines? Are you constantly on task? Have you left materials at home? Are you using class time wisely? Okay, that will give you a total. But again, this is the scale, the familiar scale that we'll be using. Okay, so for the remainder of the class, now that we've read through the expectations of the assignment, you are going to use your device. You are going to research some of these volcanoes and earthquakes. If you're interested in doing Mount Vesuvius, if that really appeals to you, you might put a number 1 beside this, indicating that that's your first choice. Hopefully when your card gets drawn, that choice will still be available. Okay, don't mark down 3. Okay, mark about 10. Okay, just to make sure that you get one that you're interested in. Okay, class, good luck, and have a wonderful weekend. I will see you at school next week.